Michael Dempsey with the Bryce's Crossroads Foundation, and join us as we explore the Vicksburg campaign service of an Illinois unit that also played a big role at the Battle of Bryce's Crossroads and campaigned throughout the state of Mississippi during the Civil War.
The 81st Illinois is organized in the southern portion of the state in the fall of 1862 and finds itself really its first taste of active campaigning during the American Civil War, actually during the first push to take Vicksburg in November and December 1862. And as Major General Ulysses S. Grant is making his push through the northern portion of Mississippi, following the Mississippi Central Rail line, he has detached 30,000 Union soldiers to leave Memphis on an amphibious force to go down the Mississippi River and attack the bluffs north of Vicksburg, thus trying to capture the city while occupying the Confederate forces in the northern part of the state. The 81st Illinois is part of this action, where they make their way as far as Abbeville before they're forced to retreat and retrograde when the campaign fails. The 81st Illinois, which had originally been a part of Jacob Lauman's division, had then been attached to the 17th Army Corps under Major General James McPherson. They will cross the river on May 1st, 1863, and participate in the subsequent battles of Port Gibson, Raymond, Jackson, Champion Hill, and they will arrive on the outskirts of Vicksburg.
The 81st had campaigned for months prior to the final push to take Vicksburg, but they would take their first combat casualties of the war at the Battle of Port Gibson on May 1st, 1863, when 3 men from the regiment fell.
We are in Raymond, Mississippi, and on May 12, 1863, a violent clash took place here that saw the 81st Illinois suffer 15 additional casualties as the Union Army continued to move on the capital at Jackson.
Though a small clash, the Battle of Raymond would be remembered for its ferocity. While the 81st Illinois sustained 15 casualties in the fight, several other Union and Confederate units that were there that day would suffer 5, and in some cases, 10 times that amount. The losses for the 81st continued to grow as the Union Army moved closer to the fortress city of Vicksburg. At the pivotal Battle of Champion Hill, fought on May 16, 1863, the regiment suffered 29 casualties.
The 81st Illinois will participate in the general assaults that take place at Vicksburg on the morning of May 22nd, 1863. In that assault, as part of John D. Stevenson's brigade, the 81st Illinois will make a direct assault on the Great Redoubt, the largest Confederate fortification along an 8-mile front. In that attack, the 81st, making their way up the general slope, rising all the way to that Confederate location, is swept by canister and rifle fire. Their colonel, James J. Dollins, is killed in action leading this principal assault, and thus, with no commander, the regiment, confused, retreats in disorder.
Nearly 100 men of the 81st would become casualties during the main assault and subsequent siege of Vicksburg. Without a doubt, the unit had played a substantial role in securing perhaps the greatest Union victory of the entire war when Vicksburg surrendered on July 4, 1863. After Vicksburg, the 81st participated in the Union's failed Red River campaign in Louisiana, and afterwards arrived in Memphis just in time to march into North Mississippi under the command of Union Brigadier General Samuel Sturgis. The 81st Illinois, as part of the All-Illinois Hogues Brigade, was in the thick of the fight at the Battle of Bryce's Crossroads. They eventually would establish their place near the center of the Union line, where the right of the 81st Illinois met up with the left of the 114th Illinois. In the blazing Mississippi heat on June 10, 1864, the 81st was raced to the front lines just beyond the Crossroads. Though seriously fatigued, the unit held ground as long as they could until the entire Union line began to crumble under overwhelming pressure from the victorious Confederates. The regiment would suffer over 200 casualties and men killed, wounded, captured, and missing at the battle. This was over twice what they had suffered at the horrific siege of Vicksburg a year prior to Bryce's Crossroads.
Thanks for joining us for our video on the 81st Illinois Infantry Regiment. Please stay tuned for more videos connecting the Vicksburg campaign to the men who also fought in Civil War battles in North Mississippi. Until next time, goodbye from Vicksburg.